Hey, round 2, baby.
Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 185. And today we're here with my guy, Ejay Cruz of the Parables Podcast.
My brother, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, so I wanted to have you back on the pod for 2 reasons. One, because you're a podcaster, and, you know, I like talking to other podcasters. Same. And for 2, I know how it is to be a host of a podcast. You're the one that's always listening and asking the questions, but you never really have a chance to give your input like in a longer form. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to have you on to pick your brain about just life in general, you know?
Yeah.
So and then when we were just sitting down right now, I just wanted to see when the last time you were in. Dude, the world's crazy, bro. The last episode you were on was episode 86, and we're 185.
Dude, that's why I just want to let everyone know this guy pushing episodes like crazy. That's just wild, because I feel like it was long ago, but it wasn't that long ago when you really look at it. And for you to push out 100 episodes in between, dude, I want to know your schedule, bro. I want to know how you're doing it, man.
Dude, it's hard, bro. You know, like I was telling you off air, last week I took we upload Monday and Thursday, and I took that whole time off because I was just like, dude, I'm fucking burnt out right now. I didn't announce it. I didn't say anything. I just didn't put out an episode. For the one reason, I wanted to see if people would reach out and say, hey, no episode today.
How did that go? Did you get like a response like, hey, where's the episode?
I mean, you know, whenever you're expecting a good response, you never get it, dude. I got like a couple people and I was like, damn, I feel really shitty, you know? But then I was thinking about it, you know, people just expect the pods to come out. They expect it to be done. And that's all their part in this is just to listen. Yeah. Whether they give feedback or not, whether they tell anybody about it or not, the most that they can do is just listen. You know, so when they didn't see an episode pop up, it probably didn't even register in people's minds, like on the other side of things, you know. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you about with the Parables podcast. It looked like you had like a gap in time from May to June for uploading. So tell me about the struggles of being a podcaster.
Dude, first off, man, we just spoke about it. I love being a guest. And then, dude, me and you, again, we resonate so much because we both host, like, you know, pretty active podcasts. Yeah. But yours is way more active than mine. But, you know, really the struggle for me is that one is just like you, I like it to be in person, right? Because it's more intimate. I feel like it's more raw. There's just like that interaction face to face that's way different than on Zoom.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
As we know with the pandemic, like everyone is shifting towards Zoom and more in a digital route. Yeah. So I think that's one of the problems, because obviously my location is a disadvantage to other people, right? Then of course there's like the schedule, like the conflict of scheduling, right? Especially the type of people I like to get on my podcast. Of course they're busy. I'm busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's just a struggle, man. I mean, it's hard to kind of just get a system in place. And I think part of it is my fault too. I know so a big thing that I've always been trying to work on, even since the last time I was on here, is working on systems, right? Systems, for instance, like this is like a really, really maybe a bad example, but like just time wise, right? Building a system. For instance, I get a haircut every Thursday at 9 a.m.
Gotcha.
Right? And like, I want to have a system. And again, that may be a bad example, but I want to have a system in place, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Right? Where when I do my podcast episodes, when it's like recorded, when does it come out? Right? Like a very, very strict schedule. Yeah. Right? When's the time frame for editing? Like for instance, like my edits, like my highlight reels, right, that we put on social media, I have a guy I outsource it to.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Right. That helps save some time, but really just systemizing it so it's easier. I mean, like I have a bunch of buddies, like, again, the world is just changing, right? So I don't know if you know, but a big part of business now that's an asset to a business or complements people's business are virtual assistants. Right. Okay. These people that, you know, you reach out to, like, you know, different countries. Right. And they're able to help your business with like more like admin work or logistic work. Right. Whether that's editing, whether that's doing like payroll. It really takes a lot of stuff out of, like, you know, the entrepreneur or the business owner's hands. Gotcha. Right. And it's cheaper. Right. Yeah. You don't have to hire someone. You know, again, like you don't have to worry about everything that comes into hiring an employee. Yeah. Right. It's like someone, and then of course it is cheaper, right? So two things happen. One, it helps take all that workload off of you. At the same time, then you're helping someone, especially like, for instance, like if they're from the Philippines or Mexico or something, they have a form of income.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a beautiful thing for both parties. I have a lot of friends in multiple industries that are using that virtual assistants. So I bring that up because they've been telling me like, EJ, you got to like somehow systemize this thing so it takes some of that work out of your plate.
Yeah.
I just haven't found how to have those, like something like that kind of complement the business. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, like, I would even want to know how you do it. I mean, you've been able to push 100 episodes between, the last episode we did. Yeah. And I'm sure you have a strict schedule. Like you said, right? You have 2 episodes that release per week. I'm sure you have a turnaround time very strict of when it's edited, when it goes. It's just hard, man. It's hard. And I think it's just like with anything, right? With family too. Like, I'm sure you have a system like, hey, like this is when we eat. This is when it's family time or things like that. Then you start to open that dialogue about like non-negotiables. Yeah, that's part of your system, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would love to say that I'm there, but I'm definitely not. Yeah. It's still a struggle that I'm trying to figure out. I do like when things are scheduled and when you're on like a tight schedule, but sometimes reality just doesn't work like that.
Absolutely.
If I was only a podcaster, then I can make it like that. But podcasting is like still right now is a thing that I'm doing as a hobby. So this time that I take away, I just fit it in wherever I can. So with that, with it being like unscheduled and trying to figure out things and when to do it, the only constants that I do have are the days and the times that I upload. So it has to be done by then. So my upload time is 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday and Thursday, which is 6 a.m. East Coast. Yeah. So when East Coast guys are waking up, going to work on their trip to work or whatever, their commute, they could listen to it there. So, and then West Coast guys, whenever they get up, it's already ready for them. So that's my only constant that I need to make sure that that's done. But sometimes, bro, I'm not perfect, dude. I cut it super close. Like today, say if today was a Wednesday and tomorrow's the episode, I've recorded episodes, finished them, went home, edited them, and made the upload happen like an hour before, 2 hours before.
I've done that too.
And it's just those things that you have to do. And I feel like when you have your life so structured, when something messes up that structure, then it causes a lot more issues, because you're out of sync now. Yeah. So the way that I do things, man, is I'll just like this week this is probably my third or fourth podcast. This week. So this podcast itself is probably going to come out in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. Yeah. So that's how I like it. I'll slam everything into maybe 2 weeks, and then the other 2 weeks I'm good. Yeah. So that could give me more time to figure out what guest I want to get, whether it's going to be a Zoom or in person, who do I want to talk to? And it takes less pressure away from me rather than saying like, oh, fuck, I need an episode tomorrow. Who am I going to get? Which that does happen as well.
That's happened to me too. And so this is a prime example, right? Before COVID happened, thankfully, I had a huge backlog of episodes. So I was like, okay, I don't know what the heck's going to happen with this COVID thing. Again, I like to do my podcast episodes in person. Yeah. Right. But because of COVID, I knew like, okay, thank God I have these backlog of episodes. But now we somewhat semi-reopened. Yeah. And I technically almost ran out of episodes. Yeah. You know what I mean? But see, the thing with me is like, it's kind of like a pro and con type of thing, right? With my episodes, I like it in my podcast because I control it, right? If I'm just not feeling it, then like, cool, then I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Right. But then at the same time, what hurts is because I don't have like the structure and consistency like I used to, it does hurt me because then there's no consistency. Then the audience isn't growing. Definitely. You get what I'm saying? So I am experiencing that now where my actually listenership has dropped. You know what I mean? But I will say I know I have loyal listeners. Like they're always from the same like city, same country, whatever it may be. They always listen. Like it, you know what I mean? And some people just don't listen at the time you release or within that week. Sometimes they catch up. And I do have loyal listeners that like to catch up. Yeah. It's just crazy. Like I look back like, oh, this episode released like 2 weeks ago. And then like you see a spike. Like, the listening. I'm just like, what the heck? Yeah. It's like, did you just get like the notification now? You know what I'm saying? Was there like a delay in the notification? I don't know. But yeah, man, it's But no, like I said, I admire like what you do and how consistent it's been, because I know for me it's been tough, and I want to pick it back up. I just gotta find that flow.
Yeah, you know what the thing is, man, is what I tell everybody that's doing something content related. Say, look, you have to look at it through your viewer's point of view. Yeah. So I look at podcasting as a fan of podcasting, right? So I have maybe 20 or 30 podcasts that I'll rotate in between, and it solely depends on my mood. So there's very few that as soon as they upload, I'm listening to them, which one is going to be the Joe Budden podcast. That one, every Wednesday and every Saturday, I'm set to watch it or to listen to it. You know, Wednesday I come here, I'm excited to do it, put it on in the morning, and then Saturday I'm usually like cleaning or something, washing the cars, I'll put the podcast on, you know. But that's the only one. You know, I have Brilliant Idiots, I have Joe Rogan podcast, you know, the MFCEO, which is now the AF, what is it? Real AF, you know, Andy Frisella. And I'll touch on all of those whenever I get a chance. So I have to think of it like I have to look at it from the podcaster's view of things. You know, maybe the guest that I'm having on doesn't align with their interest. You know, so I'm just putting out content, putting it out, and hopefully somebody listens to it, and maybe they're into you know, a lot of our guests are car guest, you know, so maybe they're into Hondas, and then they hear it like, wow, I didn't even know that Downstar had a podcast, and then they look at our backlog and it's like every big Honda enthusiast ever. So that's kind of what I'm banking on, you know. And I'm going more of like the, you know, you're familiar with Russ the rapper?
Yeah.
Russ, I'm going more of that kind of way. You know, you're just putting out content. You're the one that's 100% solely into all of this. So one day when it does pop, then we're going to reap the benefits of everything. So right now I'm just on grind mode, man. So my recommendation would be to you is to pick a day, stick to that day, stick to that time. And that is the same thing as you having to go to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You would never not go to work because, oh, I have to go do this or I have to go do that. You have to be there. So your podcast, your YouTube episode, whatever it is, has to upload on that day. And you just do one a week, you know, and then maybe in 1 week you knock out 3 or 4 podcasts, and now you're Gucci for a month.
I remember 1 week, I think I did like maybe 5 episodes, dude. I was just like, oh my gosh, man. And then you know, on the equipment or technical side or the media side, I remember like, oh crap, I have to unload the media because then I need more space. And, you know, like just all that stuff. And I remember like just constantly, and then like eventually I was able to buy more media drives and storage, and like I had a little more time. But I remember even buying like the second like media storage, I was like, oh, thank God, it gives me more time to like edit and like, you know, instead of like just putting the like in crunch time. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But I know exactly what you're saying, because you know, my podcast, you've been on my podcast show, right? It's at my house, and I used to have every Thursdays also, right? What I quickly realized is like, oh crap, I forgot I have lawn maintenance that day. So it gets loud. It gets loud. I got dogs, and it's a little more distracting. You know? That's why, like, again, I always get inspired when I come here. Well, shoot, I see my sticker right there. That's dope.
I got your card right here too, dude.
Oh shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. So it's a little hard because I have it at home, because I like to think I have a controlled environment, but it's just not as controlled as I'd like. Right. So like, dude, I got people, you know, doorbelling, whether that's, you know, the post office guy or like Amazon or just whoever. There was a time, I think I told you this too, like where my power went out. You know what I mean? And then like I have lawn maintenance. So basically I was like, okay, Thursday I can't do no more. It has to be Wednesday, Friday, or maybe even the weekend if I'm off work, right? But yeah, dude, it's just ongoing, bro. I used to think I had like a set schedule, but I kind of like, again, like the flexibility. It's just, again, it hurts because I haven't been consistent, and again, the listenership has kind of dropped a little bit. But yeah, I'm picking back up. Like, I think you just mentioned it. Like when COVID happened, I think I didn't have an episode for like 2 months. Right. And it's funny. My last episode, the next episode I'm going to drop, it's with a professional boxer. His name is Jose Lopez. He calls himself the Riverside Rocky. Professional boxer. Yeah, super cool guy. We recorded the episode right before like COVID really hit, right? And I haven't released this episode yet. So I don't like to leave it that far out, because I feel like, you know, like you, right? Like me and you, right? You're gonna release this in about a week and a half.
Yeah.
It's more relevant. It's more current, right? Where me and him, we spoke right before COVID, and now I'm gonna release it like 2 to 3 months after.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So every time all the people I've helped with podcasting, you know, in their shows, I always tell them like, hey, dude, you should never have a podcast episode linger more than a month.
Yeah.
Because of the relevancy and current.
Yeah.
And here I am not practicing what I preach. You know?
Hey, we do that all the time, man. I never take my own advice. It's human nature. But it is hard, man, especially how you do it. You know, your location, you do it out of your home. And the guests that you get are very high profile guests, and they all understand that, you know, time is money. So it's very hard to get somebody to commit to, you know, like an hour and a half conversation, not including travel time or whatever they're taking out of their day. So you've definitely stacked the cards against yourself. But the people that you are talking to are people that, you know, is in the space that you're looking to grow in.
Yeah.
So it's just the name of the game, man. It's definitely going to be hard. And everybody that does podcasts, that genuinely want to do podcasts because, you know, it's their passion. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that because if you were doing podcasts for a different reason, if you had, you know, somebody backing you, if this was your full-time thing, then you can take it to a different level a lot sooner.
Like if you have a team,
if you have a location, if you're more central, you know, if your time is free, you know, if you didn't have a wife, if you didn't have anything, dude, but it's, you mix all this stuff in there, and then this is something that you want to do as well, the podcast, that you just have to find a way to make it all work, you know. So don't be too hard on yourself, man. It is hard. It's a hard grind.
It's a hard grind, but I also want to put out there it's because I actually did a presentation on podcasting. I did a PowerPoint called the Power of Podcasting, right? And I actually presented how easy it could be.
Yeah.
Right? I just think it depends. Me and you, we're the type of people, we like to hold ourselves to high standards. We care about quality. So of course we're going to be a little harder on each other, and of course like hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
And we expect like, you know, the high quality, right?
Yeah.
And but you know, just everyone that's listening out there, like, it's hard if you take it serious like me and Frank do, right? But I think if you're really just starting a podcast, you want to see where it takes you, things like that, you're trying to grow it. What I will say, it's a lot easier too than you think.
Definitely.
Right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, people do it. People start podcasts for free. They even like do it through their phone. Like, it's really, you could become pretty resourceful when you start your own podcast, right? So,
yeah. I've told people, man, you have the audio on your phone or just video or whatever, just put that shit up and talk to friends. And, you know, put on your Instagram, put it on your IGTV. You can call it whatever you want. Johnny's podcast. It doesn't matter, dude. You know, but there's different levels to things. I want to compare myself to like the biggest in the game, like a Joe Rogan. You know, so that is my ideal goal. I want to be mentioned in the same sentence as like a Joe Rogan, as a Joe Budden podcast, you know, Brilliant Idiots, you know, Andy Frisella, things like that. So those are my goals, but those aren't everybody's goals. And if you want to have a podcast just to have a podcast, dude, it's like, it's extremely easy.
Yeah, and fun. It's
fun, dude.
For sure,
I love it, man. I love just sitting down and talking to people and picking their brain. So that brings me to my next question. When you have people on your podcast, what are things that are going through your mind of what kind of guests I want to get? What are the things I want to ask? And how do I reach out to these people to make these questions? How do you cook it all up?
Yeah, you know what? I've kind of pivoted because, you know, you mentioned that I've gotten some pretty high profile guests on my podcast. And, you know, it's true, right? And shout out to them because they gave me a chance, and it's actually helped build credibility. Definitely. Right. And that's why I've been given, you know, these people are actually do agree to travel to me. Right. That doesn't happen all the time. Right. They're just like, oh, no, I don't got time to do that. Right. So shout out to them. But I've kind of like pivoted a little bit because I feel like, and it's just like, I know you know this too. When we started this platform, we kind of just want to do it for fun. And then we started seeing the power of it. Right. The inspiration, the influence, and kind of like just everything that revolves around the platform. Right. And what I began to realize was, again, at least for mine, and my theme of my podcast was, I felt like at a certain point, there was an obligation now that I have, right? At least for mine, right? To really spread inspiration, spread that influence, knowledge, wisdom, little fun here and there, education, whatever it may be, right? And I began to realize, like, dude, this is like such a crazy platform because of the amount of people we're able to reach, right? Again, like I don't know anyone outside of freaking the US and Canada, but I got like 65 countries listening to me, right? It's crazy, right? So I really thought to myself, like, man, some people need a voice.
Yeah.
You know, some of these underrated people, like under the radar, you know what I mean? These are good people, you know what I'm saying? So I do still, of course, I'm not going to say no to like The Rock or Kevin Hart or Andy Frisella. Andy, you know, these guys will eventually be on our podcast. I know it, right?
Hopefully.
But like, I like to find like these underdogs or like these under the radar people and like just give them a voice, because I feel like obviously the people out there, you know, publicly, they're, you know, celebrities, famous, whatever they may be, right? We kind of know them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whereas these other people, I kind of feel like, yo, like, let's get to know you. Like, the world needs to know who you are and what you do, just like kind of what I got. Yeah. Like, what I know about you, right? So I've kind of pivoted. And also, I think, like, people are getting the same people all the time, especially, like, if you're focused on, like, a niche. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, with me, if I'm focused on business and entrepreneurship, obviously, like, the high profile of the people out there, their names are out there, people always ask them. And they're on multiple podcast shows, right? Yeah. So again, I've kind of pivoted, but again, I ain't gonna say no, right? Yeah. As far as how I reach out to them, you know, lately, again, I pivoted where a lot of my guests have been just by introductions. Gotcha. Right? I've been able to build so many cool relationships to where people are just like, oh, dude, this is EJ. He has a podcast. You should get on it. You know, before I used to, we talked about systems, right? I used to have like this habit every day. I would reach out to 2 guests, potential guests, reach out to them, try to see if they could get on my podcast. That was before when I first started. Now it's just been more of introductions. Like really, like I think I have such a big pride, and I know you do too. When people, like when I walked in, you had my video up. That was awesome. Yeah. When people come on my podcast, I treat it like a restaurant. Like you leave here like happy, satisfied, full-blown experience, right? And that speaks for itself, because now they are automatically like, we accept, you know, we have this friendship, this relationship now. Now all their friends, their buddies, or all their people that they network with or whatever, you know, they speak highly of the podcast, and they're just like, naturally, I don't even ask them. They're just like naturally like, dude, like you got to check out my boy's podcast. Yeah. I was just on it. It was sick. You know, he's, you know, whatever. Right. So I kind of pivoted. I used to reach out to people and it was simple. Literally like DM, email, you know, not so much of like, hey, you should hop on my podcast, this and that. I've learned that it's just kind of like mentorship. You can't just ask someone up. You can't just be a full-blown stranger and ask someone, hey, can I take you out for a cup of coffee? Hey, can I pick your brain? Right? These people, and I get it now because time is very, very valuable, right? There has to be like this sense of like a concept called like exchange value. Okay. Right. Like, so just to say, for instance, like I reached out to Kevin Hart, right? He's fucking busy as fuck. Yeah. Right. If I reach out to him and say like, hey, I would love to hang out with you and pick your brain, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. I'd like to take out a cup of coffee. It ain't gonna happen. Right. But if he naturally knew that I was into comedy, maybe for instance, right, as an example, I was a real fan of comedy. I was a real, fan of his work. Yeah. And I showed that somehow. Right? It's like, hey, Kevin, sorry, I know you're busy, but I noticed like throughout your career, you did this and did that. You know, I'm looking to get into this space too. You know, it's just being a real fan. Does that make sense? Yeah, no, you definitely. Know, it's like such a turn off when people just want something from you, but you don't exchange anything in return.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. It's, respecting people's times and just being genuine. You know, I can tell when somebody's genuine. You know, I always look at things from my point of view, from Downstar, from, customers reaching out to us. And, I think if we get this kind of love and attention, just imagine somebody 10x, 20x times larger than I am, and my time is already kind of tapped out, so if somebody were to reach out to me and say, I've had it happen before, they reach out and they'll say, hey man, I want to see if I can talk to you about something, can I give you a call? I'm like, but if they come at me in a different way and they explain what they're doing, and then they bring up key points about my history that I really didn't put out there, but they caught it, that catches my eye. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm going to give you an example. So I've had people, of course, I'm sure you got in this too, right? There came a point where it's like you would reach out to so many people and you'd want them to be a guest on your podcast. Yeah. Then it switched, right? Yeah. People are like reaching out to you. yo, I would love to be on your podcast. Hey, so and so, I know someone that'd be great on your podcast, right? You know, and then I'm sure you're particular who you have on your podcast, right? So am I, right? And people catch your attention. Like I had one person reach out. It's weird. Like when podcasting blew up, all of a sudden there's like these agencies, like they're the mediator to getting you onto a podcast, and then like whoever this person is, right? And I had someone really catch my attention. He's like, hey EJ, my name is so and so. I work with this company. I help these people try to get on their on people's podcasts, right? I think you'd be a great fit. This is the reason why. This is who they are. I actually listened to these episodes. I loved how you guys spoke about this, spoke about that. I left you a review. Dude, that caught my attention.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And to talk about the value, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, that motherfucker thinks he's too cool for everyone. Or, he's just, whatever, right? I'll give you an example. I've had so many people reach out to me, about podcasting advice, right? I've helped maybe about 20 shows get up and running.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah, just because I love it. And I wanted people to experience what I've experienced, right?
Definitely.
But only about 5 of them took it serious, and now their podcast is killing it, or they really took off, right? Those other 15, it was a lending hand, but let's be real, you wasted my time.
Yeah,
because you didn't take what I told you and apply it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where it all comes together again as to why some people, they won't give you the time of day. You have to show your urgency and how serious you are when it comes to, especially when you're asking for a favor.
Definitely.
Like, you know what I mean? Hey, I would love to know more about podcasting. If you have time, I would love to get together and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But I need to know, and that's just an example, but I need to know you're fucking serious. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So that's just how it all is, man.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. And doing the podcast that we do twice a week, that kind of shows people off the bat, like, that we're serious about it. So this deep into it, it's making it a little easier to reach out to people, and especially for like Skype being accepted in the podcast realm as of now, that's helped out get a lot of guests on and take a lot of weight off my shoulders as well. And it gives me opportunity to talk to people that I wouldn't really be able to have in studio, whether they're in LA or not. If they're very busy people, it's hard to get them to drive, 2+ hours out of their way and then spend time here podcasting. I'm asking somebody for half of their whole day to come over here and do this podcast. Yeah. So it's kind of been beneficial that like Skype has been accepted as a form of podcasting. I personally, I would rather have everybody in studio.
Yeah, we have to make those few exceptions.
Definitely,
like people have health problems too. That could be another reason, right? Yeah. And then again, it requires a lot of their hours throughout the day. You know what I mean? So you have to make a few exceptions.
Yeah. But I totally understand what you're saying, man. If people aren't serious, you can tell that they're not serious. But if people are serious about it, you can tell. And that's just going through their social media, seeing how active they are, seeing what kind of things that they're doing, the engagement that they're having, the personality that they're showing all of us. Because everything that you see on social media is what I want to show you. So everybody else is the same way. So if you're presenting yourself in a right way, I see that you're hustling, I see that you're trying. I don't mind helping people out at all. I'll even have people on the podcast as a guest, that don't have a huge following, but I see that they're trying, and I want to give them that audience where maybe their products can be used by our customers. Yeah. Or a podcast like yourself that maybe they're not familiar with, they'll check it out and they'll say, oh, wait, I like the way that EJ does the podcast, and maybe, get people to check you out, So this is what I feel like this is the podcast that you and I have are platforms that maybe we never had when we were on our come up. Because I never had anybody that really reached out to me and wanted to put me on a platform, wanted to highlight what I was doing, other than, being in a magazine and having a few paragraphs or something like that. But everything else was, either I put myself in that situation or it was a favor for a favor or something like that, So I want to be that person for people who are on their grind, that I can reach out to them and hopefully help them out wherever I can.
Yeah. And word of advice to everyone out there, let's just say you don't want to start a podcast, or maybe just you don't have the time, whatever. If you're a brand or business and you're trying to stay relevant or trying to grow or market yourself or just, for the exposure, dude, it is essential that you try to be on every podcast show that you can, right? And that's where it comes down to, again, what we just spoke about. Like, how do you reach out to people to become a podcast, to be a guest on their show, right? Yeah. Well, again, how are you going to stick out? Could you imagine how many people probably would love to be on Joe Rogan's podcast? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And again, people like me and you, even though we're not at that level, but we're very particular, right, of who comes on our show. Yeah. Right? Are you there to provide, like for me and my podcast, are you there to actually provide value? Are you there to have fun? Are you there to be an inspiration to the world, right? Or are you there to just for the exposure? Yeah. Again, we live in a world, I always tell people, and like you said, like if you could kind of like sense if it's like they have like good intentions or not. Definitely. I feel like America's like getting more dumb just because of everything that's happening right now. But then at the same time, we're getting a little more common sense where we could just smell bullshit from a mile away. Yeah, if you're that person, if you're trained for that, dude, it's so easy for me to spot things out. Yeah. In any type of person, not just a younger person, older person, anybody, man. If I watch somebody for a short amount of time, I can tell what they're all about. Sit me down with somebody for 2 hours, I can tell you what kind of person this person is. Yeah. Because it's just they're throwing, information at me that they might not even know that they're putting out. Yeah. And it's just because I'm so self-aware. I'm so critical of myself. I'm so aware of everything that I'm doing that I understand a language that some other people don't understand, which will make me not want to mess with somebody, or which will make me really want to mess with somebody, even though our like paths don't really align. Mm-hmm. I've talked to certain people and I'm like, damn, that person has dope ass energy. I don't know how we align in any way right now, but just to be like around that person is dope. Just to have a conversation with them. It's that presence, man. It's how they carry themselves. It's who they hang around with. You know what I mean? Everything's pretty observable, especially to people like me and you. I'm very observant of like people. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely. Just, I don't know, just being aware. You know what I mean? So I was watching one of your last podcasts. I think it was 76, if I'm not mistaken. The slushy guy. Oh yeah. So tell me about that, man. My boy. That was a little different. I was listening to it, and then I actually, when I put the YouTube video on, I saw the thumbnail for it, and I said, "Wow, this dude really wore a mask." So he dude, Slush God, amazing guy. He started a brand, or he actually started a movement. Actually, it started as a hashtag. Got you. Right, and since then he's been able to create like a movement, a brand. And if you look on his IG, it's just an anonymous person. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Hilto Automotive has been a supporter of Downtime with Downstar for quite some time now, and we know that they're in your corner, that they got your back, whether you're under a car or you just need some help. No matter your race, creed, engine platform preference, that motto stands true. Accord, Civic, S2000, any Honda, any customer, anywhere in the world, with equal respectful treatment for all. We at Downtime with Downstar share these values, and as a special gift to Downtime listeners, they are giving you guys a special deal. Using the Let's Deal function at the top of HiltoAuto.com, you'll find an option to request a special quote. Submit a special quote using the key phrase, "I'm down with Downstar." Once again, the key phrase is "I'm down with Downstar" for a special deal on whatever you're shopping for. And of course, if you need any help, Marcus from Hilto is available by call, text, email to help out. Hilto wishes you guys a happy, healthy, and safe 2020. So I know a lot of you guys are questioning, what is this whole cult thing that's going on? Well, we at Downstar are starting our own cult. What is it? Are you going to have to drink punch? Are we going to sleep with your wives? No, none of that yet. But what it is a direct number to us, meaning me, Frank Downstar. I'm the one that's answering the text. So please, right now, text us, 818-403-3473. You're just going to have to follow a couple simple steps, get added to your contacts, and text us. Let us know what you're thinking of the episode so far. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, anything, even want to talk about life, man, just shoot us a text. We're here to help you guys out, and we're here to have some fun, man. And that's what the cult's about. So come join the cult.
818-403-3473. No charges. We're not going to be selling your info. No bullshit like that, guys. Just straight up fun. So make sure you guys shoot us a text right now. 818-403-3473. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Have a good day.
Yeah. Right. An honest guy who he's really transparent about him. Not necessarily him, I guess you could say, but like, because he doesn't reveal his identity, but about him and about his business. Right. And it kind of like, it brings like this mysteriousness because they're like, who is this guy? And who's this guy running this like crazy like brand? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like, it's pretty impressive what he's been able to do. But it started off as a hashtag. It blew up. He decided like, hey, let me try let's see if this would work as an apparel brand. It worked. And now he's, an apparel lifestyle brand. And when I knew that he doesn't reveal his identity, because I met him in person without his mask, of course, I know him. Mm-hmm. I know his real name. I know his number and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I was just like, man, I thought to myself, this is going to be different. Having a dude with a mask on my freaking podcast. And I did think to myself, I don't know, would this be good? Would this be bad? But because, again, we just spoke about it, right? So, Craig, I love this is how I know you're such a good host, how this translates to the next subject. Just because I know him, the conversations we have, his energy, the type of people, like he's a friend of a friend too, right? I knew like, that's just an appearance. Like I got to have this guy on my podcast, you know? Came on, we did a long episode. I remember that it was long, and it's good, dude. Like he was able to tell his story, and he's very interesting, man. Love that guy. Yeah, shout out to Slush God, man.
Where's he located at?
He's Santa Ana.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, that was very interesting to me. You know, I can see a lot of positives and a lot of negatives from navigating your business in that way. You know, especially nowadays, people like to know who the owner of a business is because they want to see if they align with them, if they relate to them, their ideas. You know, you've met a business before, and then you're like, oh wow, this is such a great business, and you meet the owner, and you're like, man, fuck this business. I'm taking these fucking car parts off. Yeah. But I wonder if it's a like an insecurity thing that he hasn't tapped into yet. That he figured out how to get around that insecurity, how to make it interesting as like a mystery, still go on with his goals and his dreams and whatever he wanted to do by not attacking the actual issue that's behind it. That's kind of what I got from it, you know, without knowing him, without talking to him, of course. But that's like the first thing that came to my mind is maybe it's something that he doesn't feel like his personality or his image or what have you resonates with the brand, so he keeps it like mysterious.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I you know what, I don't think so. I think it's more of, it's cool. When I look at it, I think of it a couple ways. Right. One is I think it's great marketing. In my opinion, definitely. Right. Mysterious. Right. As we spoke about, anytime you have a business brand or whatever, people want to know your story. Storytelling is huge. Right. Facts tell, stories sell. Right. That's just facts right there. And he has an incredible story. Right. And it's just like, I don't know, it just brings like this mysteriousness of like, dude, who the fuck is this guy with this fucking crazy ass mask with a brand with all these colors, you know, and then it has like a cool name, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it started off as like slushies, right? Like a fascination for slushies, right? And I think what he's doing is pretty clever. It's unique. It's just different. Like, how many lifestyle brands are out there? Right? Yeah, there's a lot. And how do you distinguish yourself? Definitely. Well, definitely. His colors, his apparel, his designs, and then him.
The mystery, the mystery of it is definitely a great selling point, you know. Yeah. And I don't say that to be disrespectful to him or anything, but it's you know, when I see things like that, it intrigues me. Yeah. And you know, and that's probably
well, it caught your attention, right?
It caught my attention, so he's doing great already, man. So let's give him a shout out, dude. What was his Instagram?
Slush Cult.
Slush Cult.
Yeah.
Oh, dope, cult. Man. The cult. Yeah. And I started my own cult too, dude. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, dude. So it's a phone number. If you guys text right now, 818-403-3473. You text that number, you add it to your contacts. Once you text it, it's like automated. It'll have you add you to your contacts. And now it's I I have your number, and you can text me, and I can text you. And right now we're close to, what is it, 776. So look, these are all the people, and you'll probably love this, dude. Check this out. So if I want to message them, I can message on all of these sort of ways: location, age, gender.
I think I've seen this. Yeah.
Yes.
We got to talk about that.
Definitely, dude. So it's so cool, man, that I can, this is a better way for me. I'm building my own cult, you know, my own group, because, you know, with social media, when you post something, maybe even 50 people will see it and actually engage and take it in. Most of the time, it's just, okay, oh, cool, podcast. Oh, let's keep scrolling. I'll like that, whatever, and that's it, you know. But this is actually a group of people that I can call to action. So we've been sending out like sneak peeks of products that the public doesn't even know about. I've done
awesome.
pre-orders for products that the public doesn't even know that product even exists, and they won't know until like September, October. So this is kind of my core group that I'm building. And dope, man. So slush cult, man. Everybody check them out. I'm gonna check them out. But it's cool, man, to have people like that, just highlighting somebody like that. You know, I would have never seen that unless it would have crossed my path in some way. But for you to highlight him, and then for him to, you know, have that way of marketing himself, for me to see him like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Maybe one day he'll end up on the podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll introduce you guys. He would love to come on the podcast. I know that for sure. And that's just the thing. Like, I understand I have like this niche, right? And you kind of have this niche too. But the reality is that, you know, in order for the podcast to be interesting, and just like, because dude, in reality, everything's related. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's people, whether that's business, whatever it is, right? You know, I'm just not going to do people that are just in business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to have more musicians on my podcast, right? Even though musician does tie into business. Like, it's just like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has every fucking motherfucker in there. But like, I know most of them are like in that MMA realm, I think, right? But I mean, he has like every person there. Yeah. And I know like the type of people me and you are, we just want to have conversations with people. We're not going to discriminate just because, oh, you're not in the auto industry. Oh, you're not in entrepreneurship. Like, no, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's one of the things I tell people too who start the podcast. Like, listen, who's your target audience? And you got to make sure it's not so narrowed. Yeah. So let's just say, for instance, you wanted your podcast to be about the fucking Olympics. Well, the Olympics only happen a certain amount of, time, right? So like, how is your podcast going to stay relevant? Definitely. You know what I'm saying? That's a good that's an example. Yeah.
So what was the thing that clicked in you that, hey, I got to change this around, or this isn't how I wanted it to go, or I want to speak to more people. This is putting me inside of a box. Because the last time that we talked, that was your train of thought, was that your podcast represented what you were, the guests that you were expecting: entrepreneurs, hardworking people, and business minded people. Yeah. So what made you think that you needed to broaden out of that?
Yeah, you know what? I just think, again, when I started my podcast, I looked at three things. Three things I love. I wrote it down on a fucking notepad. If you guys didn't listen to my first episode here, that's what it was. The reason why I started my podcast, because I wanted to hone in on three things I love. One was networking. Second one was people. Yeah. And the third was just conversations, right? Now, I was doing all that with, during that time when I would have the specific guests, but I really started to focus on like, you know what? I just love people and networking and having those raw conversations. Gotcha. Regardless of what your background is, regardless of what industry you are. I really just love the conversations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if we could have like a conversation that I feel, has some wisdom behind it, or if it's just a really good conversation, whether, whatever the dialogue is in regards to, I don't know, current events or just whatever, right? Then to me, like, you're a good person to have on the podcast. Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Even though like I'm very particular who I have, I take that back now. I'm kind of like, you know what? If you're just a good person, I feel like you could provide wisdom to my audience and we could have a good conversation. More than likely, I'll have you on. Yeah.
I mean, even being particular, that's to the point where when you speak to somebody, if they can have a conversation, if they can hold a conversation. Because I've had guests on where, I ask them a question and you're getting like a 1 minute answer. And then they're just like, I'm like, fuck, dude, this is going to be a rough one.
Dude, I have people like that too. They're fucking like crazy on social media. They seem like the coolest person in the world. They hop on the fucking podcast. Like, yeah, it was good. great time in my life. And I'm just like, okay, so what about this? What about this?
Yeah.
Like, it's all like ... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So since you've spoken to so many of these entrepreneurs, I know entrepreneurship at this moment right now is extremely trendy, and it's getting flooded with a lot of people that really don't have that spirit inside of them. Although they want to be, they're emulating what they think that they should be doing. Have you run into that a lot on your podcast or in that networking area?
Of like what? Like fake entrepreneurs, or what do you mean?
Sort of. I don't want to say fake, but people that you understand that they're kind of doing it for the entrepreneurship rather than as making goals happen. Creating a business or what have you.
Just glorification,
exactly.
Joining the bandwagon and all stuff. I've come across a lot. In regards to them being on my podcast, no, because again, I guess that's where that particularness
yes.
like comes into place. Like I do my due diligence. Like I'll know, like, okay, this is a real dude.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone's, I guess, interpretation of what an actual entrepreneur is, I guess, is different. Right. But of course, dude, like that's so funny you bring that up because I just feel like, especially nowadays, because my thing, what I truly believe in is I run into people for a reason. Like, does that make sense? Like,
yes,
I cross paths with people for a reason. Like, I think that's like God's intention.
Yes.
Like and the more I get to know people, especially in business and entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, slowly and surely they begin to reveal themselves.
Yes.
Just by the way they act, they talk, their actions, like, you know what I mean? Everything.
Yeah.
Right? And then you begin to realize, man, this is a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or, man, dude, this guy is not a man of his word.
Yeah.
This person's always late. This person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And slowly begins to reveal himself. And that's where I like to tell everyone, I'm doing this a lot now lately. I like to audit my time because I'm just like, dude, look at this person's like really starting to waste my time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not taking my time serious.
Definitely.
Like, how do you expect me to value your time if you don't value mine? You get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I'm really starting to hone in on that, auditing my circle. Because again, to me, it's a self-reflection on me too. If I'm being surrounded and involved with a bunch of these fools that are like, just like, they're full of shit, they're fake, they're all gossip, whatever it may be, and toxic energy, to me, that's a reflection of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's bad luck. I think more it's a reflection of me.
Definitely.
I'm like, man, I'm either not auditing my circle correctly, or like it's just a reflection of me. I gotta be better.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm still negative. Maybe I'm still like, I don't value other people's time like I say I do. You know what I mean? So that's for sure, dude. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there that they're fake, dude. Like they're fake. They're all talk, and I'm just like, that's where like. That's like, for instance, like I'm big on communities and networks, especially in the business and entrepreneur space. I come across a lot of them, and I'm not trying to say I'm perfect. Like I have my own issues too. I get that, but I encourage people all the time. I'm like, listen, if I'm not a man of my word, I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
I will not take offense because I'm always on this long journey of becoming the best version of me.
Definitely.
You get what I'm saying? So I always encourage people, and I tell people this all the time too. Like, if I wasn't pushing you or challenging you to be better, what type of friend am I? I'd be doing you a disservice. If I wasn't pushing you, Frank, to become a better podcaster, to be a better husband, to be a better friend, whatever it may be, to me, I feel like that's not a true friendship, and I'm not pushing you.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, like, yeah, dude, just these, and then I come across these people, again, wasting time. They say they're gonna do something, they don't do it, dude. Habits and those trends, like you begin to recognize it, and that it says something about you.
Yeah. I think you said something about the friends that you would be around wasting your time and things like that. I think that's more on the norm than it's not. We're on the minority of things. So when you step away from that and actually observe what it is, what people do with their time, what they feel is interesting, when you step away and audit all that stuff, then you realize like, damn, this is a society that I don't want to be a part of.
Absolutely.
So when you start separating yourself, then you become talk of those kind of people. Oh, look at EJ, he thinks he's this, he thinks he's that, and then that's normal because those people haven't stepped away. They're in the cloud. They haven't had a chance to step away and just see like, damn, I'm really wasting my time worried about this bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with me. And I'm not focusing on things that I really want to accomplish because my time is tied up in something else. So when you're that kind of person that pulls yourself away, it's a very lonely thing, but it's a very courageous thing to do because you're stepping away.
Powerful word.
You know what I mean? You're stepping away from I feel what we're designed to do. We're designed to be like that. We're designed to be negative people complaining because we're not supposed to look around and, well, what the fuck is really going on here? You know? And that's why I'm kind of glad with all the things that are going on in society right now. You know, people think like that's fucked up to say that you're glad, but dude, you have to destroy things to be able to rebuild them. Yeah. Things need to be destroyed to figure out, yo, what's really going on? Yo, black people are really treated like that nowadays? You know, police brutality, it's like, it's that apparent. Like, and then once your eyes start opening up, then you start looking locally. Then you start looking at your friends and you're hanging out with your friend and all they're doing is just talking shit or saying this political things or whatever. And you're just like, fuck, man, I wanted to hang out with you to have a good day. You're bringing me down right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And exactly what you're saying. So look, I mean, you're going to come across this, right? People listening to this, you're going to feel like a shithead, right? Because you'll be like, damn, you know, they're going to try to put you down. Oh, you're too good. You know, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and it's just like the best example, right? If you got a group of friends and all they do is talk shit and gossip, like, dude, there comes a certain point where that shit gets old.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like toxic energy, dude. That translates to you. It does. You may not realize it, but it does.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Would you rather be surrounded by positive energy or negative energy?
Let's be real. At the end of the day.
Right. So, I mean, there's no issue with you stepping away from that. Right? It's just for you. You have to understand, like, I like to put it this way. These motherfuckers that I'm stepping away from, they're not going to be a part of my life in the future. That's the truth. They don't have to deal with the consequences. They're not paying my rent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
There comes a point where in your life that you're going to have to figure out, like, hey, like, I need to make decisions for my future. It is about me. And that sounds selfish, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You got to focus on you and your energy. At the end of the day, you're not married to these people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you have to, that even may be a part of a relationship too. If maybe your spouse or whoever is negative, you got to start thinking like, is that how you want to live the rest of your life? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like, I think I came to realization, and I know you have too. There just came a point in my life where I was like, I liberated myself. I was like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me no more.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm in a new business and people are like going to knock me down. Like, oh, Ejay's doing this now, or he's that, or like whatever. I don't care what people think about me or what I do. They're not paying my fucking rent.
Yeah.
They're not going to be there like down the road, like 10, 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying? They don't got to deal with the consequences. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I encourage everyone to fucking liberate yourself. Just do what the fuck you want and don't care what anyone thinks.
I love it, man. And you touched on something that with that question I asked you about the entrepreneurs. And, you know, I heard this great quote one time, and it's from this guy. His name's Tax Stone. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Tax Stone.
Sounds familiar.
He used to have one of the biggest podcasts in like hip hop culture, but then he ended up getting arrested. And right now he's been locked up for the last few years. But he was doing a podcast from jail, and he said something. He said that you don't meet people when you first meet them. You meet them over time, you know? And I like to think about that when I think about the people that I have relationships in the automotive community, and that those relationships have run their time. You know, there's more relationships that have run their time than not, because, you know, like you said, I'm very picky with my energy, the people I have around, and at the end of the day, the people that I do business with. If I do business with a shitty company, there's shit on my hands. You know what I mean? So when you meet somebody and you meet them over time, the layers start peeling off, and then you start realizing who this person is deep down, and that could be positive or negative, whichever way you look at it. Because I've met people and I'm like, dude, this dude's a fucking asshole, and then after that layer started coming down, I'm like, wow, this is a really great person. Yeah, it was just they have a guard up, or
there's a reason they're like that.
Exactly. So Another reason I asked you about that question is because one guy I know you follow and I follow as well, Andy Frisella, that's the reason that he got out of the entrepreneurship MFCEO podcast, was because of how much facade there was into it. And then that transitioned over to Real as Fuck or Real AF new podcast. And I know that you're part of his Audit syndicate with him and Ed Milet. So can you actually let us know what that is and your part into it?
Yeah.
And how that's benefited you?
So it's an entrepreneurship group of individuals, right? Entrepreneurs, a group of individuals that, come together, and it's really a community, right? We always have this saying, like, there's people out there who think different, who want to be excellent in all areas of their life, right? And it's really a group of people trying to be the best version of themselves. Obviously, entrepreneurship is a big part of it, right? But we're just, we want to be there to support each other, level each other up. I think a lot of people out there feel lonely, right? Sometimes, like, you're just a certain way, the way you operate, the way you think, the way you do things, and you just can't find an attachment or a community to relate with, right? And we have a group of people there, like really, really solid people, all walks of life, different businesses, who've come together, and their goal is what it is. Arte means excellence, right? And it's to be excellent in all areas of life.
What language is that?
Greek.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's awesome. I've been the third year just started, one of the founding members there, and we've done a few changes, but I've loved it, man. I've met some of the most remarkable people there who I call brothers, like, for life now.
Nice.
And there's people it's never been like this, but there's people I've identified, like, not only they're going to be my brother and sister for life, but, like, if a business opportunity came, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Like, instantly with that particular person, because I just know how they operate. Like, we kind of have this is like a Arte thing. It's just the way it is, right? Like, if me and you were to be partners in something, right? I would operate in the sense that no matter what, I come last. You come first, being my business partner. What's best for you and what's best for the business. I come last.
Gotcha.
Right? And that's the type of, I guess the teachings, I guess you could say, and the mentoring that we get, right? We go over lots of different things, from culture to, cash flow to marketing, you name it. Yeah. Right. And it's awesome, man. And I encourage everyone, not even just that, I encourage everyone, even if it's not entrepreneurship related, to join a community where you could align yourself with people with the, similar ideologies, morals, values, principles, things like that, and it doesn't even have to be business related, just anything. You know what I mean? Just like the car community. Dude, the car community is crazy. I know that. I know you know that. Join a community, and make sure you join a community that's good for you, and it helps you grow.
Nice. So have you had one-on-one combos with Andy?
I haven't personally, no. I've had some conversations with Ed.
Gotcha.
It's more of like, obviously it's a huge group.
Yeah.
Right. And it just depends. We have different events and things like that, but the mentorship is there. It's as a group, which I think is cool, because then it's not like it's like this one-on-one thing where they're like favoring this, favoring that. But it's awesome, man. Obviously there's a cost to it, you know what I'm saying? But dude, I wouldn't be in it. You know what I'm saying? It costs money. It takes up some of my time. We have calls. We get the mentorship and guidance. Mentorship's huge, man. Everyone should seek a mentor. It's huge, man. If you're trying to emulate someone or you align yourself with someone, you should probably get mentored by someone who's been there and done that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. So in your everyday life, and with the podcast and things that you want to do, where do you grab inspiration from, and who are some people that are inspirational to you, or that you look for as not somebody that you would want to be, but just sort of like guidance, kind of?
Yeah, that's a hard question.
Like a model.
That's a hard question to answer, because I find I'm the type of guy who's very particular, and I find inspiration from the littlest things. I always like to use this example. Like, of course, I find inspiration from one of the high profile entrepreneurs that have been on my podcast, right? One that started a beautiful family. Yeah. One that has financial freedom, right? Someone that represents positivity, good energy, always pays it forward, right? That's someone I want to emulate, of course, because that's what I want to do. Yeah. Right. Then I find inspiration from someone. I always use as an example, like my barber. Cool guy, shout out to him. You know, I remember times where he was just saving up to start his own place.
Yeah.
You know, to have his own little shop, right? And for him to tell me that, and then he makes it happen after, you know, saving up and putting action and actually doing what he says he's going to do.
Yeah.
I find inspiration from that too. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, it's like I find inspiration from all different places. Obviously, I'm going to stick to a few particular like mentors, like a group of mentors who like I look up to, and I'm like, man, I want to be like that. I want to be well spoken. I want to carry myself everywhere I go. I want to inspire people. I want to have financial freedom. I want to have a big house. I want to, you know, pay it forward. I want the nice car. And those are like, I get it. Like those are like, you know, physical things or whatever. But like just overall, there's a lot of people that, you know, I aspire to be like, you know what I mean? But of course, be my version too.
Definitely.
But I find little inspiration from other people too. And I think that's what's cool about being surrounded by high operating, good flow people, good energy people, is because you find the inspiration there. How can you not find inspiration from people who are just good?
Yeah.
Have good energy. You know what I'm saying? I find inspiration every time I fucking come in here. I find inspiration for you. Like, dude, when you text me and like we're just chatting like how we're thriving during this busy time, that inspires me too. I'm like, shit, man, like that's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, Frank's killing it. Frank's a hard worker. That inspires me. It reminds me, yo, you got to work hard too.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you could find inspiration from all different sources. I
love it, man. So tell me about this book that you brought, man. I really appreciate you brought me this gift of a book, How Money Works. Stop Being a Sucker by Tom Matthews and Steve Sabold.
That's crazy. It's crazy how you're highlighting this. No, it's just with Ed Milet, I partnered up with him, working with this firm. It's financial services. You know, we're just trying to empower people to, you know, really take serious about their money.
Gotcha.
You know, really think educating yourself, because there's a huge problem out there right now. Like literally, it's like the number one economic crisis in the world. It's financial illiteracy, right? Not knowing how to save, manage, invest, earn, all that stuff, your money.
Yeah.
Right. It's a huge, huge problem. And, you know, I started working for a firm. I'm licensed now. It's just a, you know, side hustle that I'm doing. You know, me, dude, I got so many jobs. Like I just want to do everything.
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, to me, I take money serious because, again, I look at it as a tool. Right. I think money reveals people. Right. It accelerates and it reveals who you are if you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Also reveals yourself if you lose a lot of money. Right. And I want to use money as a tool to accelerate the goals that I want to do, and also be a contribution towards society, right? I can't accomplish like starting a like a charity or, you know, all that other good stuff or philanthropy or whatever it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
If I had money, let's just be real, I could probably make that happen a lot quicker.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the goal is to really empower people to take their finances serious, to educate them. And dude, I know you're about your money, so I just had to bring the book, man.
I appreciate it, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
And
you.
that's really all it is, dude. You know, I think this is one of the a really good book, and the reason why it's just, you know, it's like 100 pages. It's very visual. It's like a children's book.
Yeah.
I wish I was the author. Take credit for that. But yeah, I just wanted to you know, bring it to you, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. So can this is this available like on Amazon or?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon.
All right, guys, I'm about to read this one, so make sure you check it out. Talking about money, man, and podcasting. I was just watching a podcast with. Are you familiar with Andrew Schwartz? He's a comedian.
Yeah.
So Andrew Schwartz, he's one half of Brilliant Idiots podcast with Charlemagne the God, but he also has another podcast. It's called Flagrant 2 with Akash Singh, and he had on the lawyer that was on one of the teams for El Chapo. And they were talking about money laundering and tax evasion. And dude, anybody listening, man, if you're interested in either of those subjects, you really need to go check that out, man. Try not to do any Googles on it or anything. But that was just it's just like that with that kind of conversation, you know. Andrew having the platform, him just thinking like, wow, I wonder how money laundering works. And then he's able to talk to this guy who's actually, you know, part of El Chapo's team, which I don't know if they were money laundering or not. I'm sure that they were.
Yeah.
I would never say anything bad about El Chapo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool one to watch, man. So speaking of podcasting, who are some of the podcasts that you listen to, like on your role?
It's crazy because I feel like there's so many podcasts out there, and like, dude, you were just highlighting the podcast that you listen to. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of podcasts. Like, that's a lot of time, man. But that's good though, because again, like, I almost feel like podcasting is like the new school.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But
you learn a lot.
New education system.
You learn how to money launder.
Yeah. Who do I listen to? Definitely Andy Frisella. Dude, I just love how transparent it is, man, and just like how, you know, he brings like this whole new perspective towards the shit that's really happening. Like, he says this shit that's not being said. I fucking love it. I listen to his every now and then. I listen to Ed Milet's, and then of course that's a given because those two are my mentors. Man, dude. You know what? I'm gonna be real. I've taken a step back as far as listening to podcasts. I'm trying to get into reading more.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because I like to read and I like to highlight, and I just feel like it sticks with me. A little more. But yeah, I would say probably those two.
Got you. Now, speaking of reading, what are some of the books that you've read lately?
Well, one is that book. I have this new book that my buddy who was just on my podcast, Sharon, just sent me. Man, I can't think of the title right now off the top of my head, but it's really good. It's basically about putting a vision in place and executing on it in regards to your business or whatever your vision is, right, for your goal. One of my favorite books is The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. That's like one of my favorite books of all time. It just expands your mind in regards to how you think and how you should, you should start thinking, right? I read Man Up by Bedros Keuilian. I love that book. Ed Milet's book called Max Out. Obviously, these are all kind of entrepreneur business related.
Self-help books.
I got to finish Bobby Hundred's book. I got that.
Got you.
My buddy's sending me over Andy Frisella's book. I'm about to read that. Truthfully, I got a line of books that I need to catch up on. It's almost like my fucking podcast episodes. I'm falling behind, bro.
Bro, I feel you on that, dude. Bobby Hundred's This Is Not a T-Shirt. That book is amazing.
Yes.
I really want to read it again. I read it last summer when we were on vacation, and I just blew through it, man. It's so great. And ever since then, I've been a lot larger fan of Bobby Hundred's than before, just from the streetwear brand, And even speaking of the cult that we started, he's one of the reasons that I started it, because he had the phone number first, and he would actually text back. So I'm sure people have seen that the phone numbers floating around. Mikey Taylor, who was on your podcast and my podcast, he has one. Ben Baller's had one. Gary V. But all of these guys will Mikey Taylor does answer back, but the other guys, they don't, and I understand that they're busy. But Bobby Hundreds,
it's a virtual assistant.
Bobby Hundreds is busy too, and I've had actual conversations with him, and that just made me feel like, well, if this guy, being as large as he is able to communicate with his audience one by one, I can do the same thing. So it really motivated me to get into that. So I would recommend finishing that book. That book is amazing. But I do have a lot of books that I haven't read as well. Russ, that rapper that I was saying, he actually came out with a book that I gotta finish. Nice. That one. I
know Rick Ross came out with a book too.
I read that book. That book is awesome, man. Okay. Really good. And it's, I just like to mix in everything that I'm into. I'm into hip hop culture. I'm into streetwear. So if I can tell if I could read how these guys made it, it registers a lot more to me rather than somebody else that taking the more professional route of things. So
it gives you perspective.
Definitely.
Right? It gives you perspective, and these are different worlds. You know what I'm saying? But everything's kind of related too. You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel that if you're a hustler, man, you can relate with another hustler. No matter what business they're in, what they do, you get it. You understand it. So, Ejay, for you being such a disciplined person, I know that
I'm far from disciplined, man.
I know that you have to have some guilty pleasures. Some things that you waste time on. So, what would those things be?
What do I feel like I'm on my phone too much. Even though my business is on my phone, I do feel like I'm kind of surfing, whether it's Instagram or the internet. I would say that. Not gonna lie, I've just always been a movie person, So I do watch movies, but like I'm having this issue lately of just finding some good movies.
Okay.
So if you know any good movies, please shoot me a text.
What genre are you listening in or watching?
Dude, I'm like into anything, I guess you could say. I'm not so much, I mean, obviously I love action, I love thrillers, you know what I'm saying? Things that keep you engaged. I guess I could say I'm not really too much into, I don't know, what do you call it, like romantic movies too much, I guess.
Got you.
Rom-coms are cool, I guess. You know, me and my wife watch those. But I would say, yeah, like I love to watch movies, and I don't know, I want to say it's like a waste of time because it's with my wife. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, at least for me, when I'm trying to find a good movie and I waste my time. Dude, I watched this terrible movie called The Assistant. Mm-hmm. Not only did I pay for that shit on Amazon Prime or Netflix, I forgot where it was, but it was by far one of the worst movies. Like, I literally, like, you know, there's like times where you recognize, like, I want my fucking, like, 2 hours an hour, like, refunded. Yeah. That was by far one of the worst movies I've seen. And I paid for that shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. So, I would say is those, I mean, there's times, too, where I just love to chill. And just, like, lay down and just kind of clear my mind. I don't know if you would call that a waste of time because that's kind of like me time. Yeah. But I think just the way I operate, I like to be productive. Yeah. You know, so I guess that's something I'd waste my time on. And yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs get trapped in is managing their time and maximizing their time as well, and thinking that like when you're spending time with family, you could be doing something else, you could be doing something more productive, you know. And that's the way that I looked at it for a long time, dude, until I looked at it from the other way, looking at it from, you know, my family's point of view and them feeling second to the business, to the grind or whatever. So whenever I'm with my family and we're watching some TV or just wasting time or on our phones, I feel like that is time together and us, you know, bonding. You know, not everything has to be this move is to this move is to this, you know. And I feel like, at least the way that I look at things, if you talk to another entrepreneur, of course you're wasting time, but at the end of the day, bro, this is a marathon, it's not a race. Whether I get there when I'm 40 or I get there when I'm 50, I'm still gonna get there, you know. But I'm not running through my 20s and 30s just grinding my dick off, so when I get 40 and 50, then I could have everything that I want. You know, I feel that it's like an organic, slow growth, but everything needs time and attention, not just whatever's making you money.
Yeah, dude, I ain't gonna lie, like, because I'm so busy, I low-key, like, I'm talking like from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, I low-key, like, maybe it's like a 1 or maybe 0.05. When I'm away from my phone, I get like this, I don't know if you want to call it anxiety. Yeah. But I'm just like, fuck, like.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, just because, you know, like, I feel like speed is currency. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the faster you could take action on something, like, the better the results. So I feel like if there's a missed opportunity where I didn't address something for, like, I don't know, like 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever, then, like, shit, I'm a step behind. You know what I'm saying? But again, like exactly what you said, I recognize that there's times where you just gotta have me time, whatever that is to you. Family time, put your phone away. I do my best to do, even like when I fucking walk my dog with my wife, like I know I should probably put my phone away or like leave it. I gotta do a better job at that, I ain't gonna lie.
It's just knowing where you have those opportunities and focusing on them as much as possible, because people don't even realize that those are opportunities. Yeah. You know, I've been with people so many times and, you know, they're on their phone the whole time and we're not even engaging. And it makes me think, like, for one, we're trying to have this connection, but for two, how many times have I done that to somebody else? Yeah. You know, so
I it's crazy because I hate that. I hate when I'm talking to a motherfucker and they're just like on their phone. It's like, yo, talk to me. Yeah. But I recognize too that I've done that a few times. Yeah. So like I always like try to remember back, like, shit, I gotta, it's like, dude, look at this mug. Like, actually have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Stop being like so distracted. You know what I'm saying?
So on movies, what's the last movie that you've seen that was interesting to you?
Man, I've been watching a lot of reruns, man. Yeah. Obviously, I feel like, at least for me, I feel like all the movies have slowed down with COVID and shit. Like, dude, me and my wife, we had the what do you call it, the AMC package thing, where you just pay a monthly and then you could see like so many movies within the month. Obviously, that shit is on a halt right now. Man, it was a good movie. You know what? I just saw a rerun of Gladiator. Man, that movie's classic, dude. I really hope you haven't seen Gladiator.
No.
Oh man, that's a classic, bro. Russell Crowe. I hope they make a remake of that.
Yeah.
I have this. I don't want to say fascination, but I love like kind of like that Viking, Roman Empire type of movies, like kingdoms, kings, and shit like that. Obviously, like Game of Thrones, that shit's dope too. Like I was a fan of that, but I love that stuff, like Vikings and all that shit, because it's just about like power, ruling, politics, family, shit like that, right? And so Gladiator, I just watched that. That's a classic movie. You gotta watch that. But I hope someone really, really good fucking remakes that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
that good, man.
We just watched that movie with I forget that comedian. He was with Ariana Grande. Pete Davidson.
Yeah. The King of Man.
Yes,
I just watched that too.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
It was long.
Yeah.
Fucking long. I was just like, what the fuck? But I got a little more fascinated by it when I found out it was actually really about him.
Yeah.
Like I think like maybe like 90% of the
it was loosely based on his life.
Yeah. It's just interesting, man. Like I remember kept telling my wife, like, man, like it's crazy. Like there's a lot of people who are suffering.
Yeah.
And like kind of like stuck at home or whatever. They're dealing with their own shit. And it's just crazy how that's a huge part of his life, right? His dad died.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just crazy how like some people's lives like take a huge turn just by an event like that, man. And it seems like obviously with his real life it went good, right? He became famous, a comedian, and all that stuff. But there's some people who obviously don't go that good. Like they don't recover, I guess you could say, right? Yeah. They end up committing suicide or whatever may happen. It's just like it sucks. Like people are hurting out there. But that movie was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like that movie.
I wonder if he really did tattoo like something, you know what I mean? That shit's great. Like tattooed a kid and tattooed his, I guess a stepdad or his future stepdad or whatever. It's funny.
That was a good.
And it's funny because they're like, "Oh, he's so talented." I was like, "Bro, that was a terrible. That was like terrible, man."
Yeah, we haven't really been watching too many movies since COVID, but we have been watching a lot of 90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance?
You never seen 90 Day Fiance?
That's a show, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's a show on TLC.
Okay.
It's actually a saga, bro. It's not a show. You got to give it that respect. Dude, there's 4 spin-offs of that show. So basically what it is people that are in a relationship with someone overseas, and then they're gonna get married, and the whole thing of it is if this person is gonna scam you over, if they're really in love. The families on each side are like conflicting because they're trying to tell you that they just want you for the green card or whatever. It's awesome, man.
So is it real, like based off real people?
Yeah.
Oh shit,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it'll definitely make you feel better about your life for sure.
Isn't it funny when you watch something or you and then you think to yourself, like I watched a few like I guess Netflix documentaries and shit, and I forgot what the title was this one, but it was highlighting basically like different sports in different like countries, like the real countries, and one of them happened to be Philippines. Like I'm Filipino, and it was deep diving, and I just like remember seeing that. I'm like, man, dude, like you watch something and then exactly what you said, like it makes you think how much of a great life you have here. And that's where, we could talk about this. I'm sure you're going to ask me like about the current event. It just like pisses me off that so many people would talk down or take it, don't take their shit for granted what we got here. You know what I'm saying? You watch stuff and you listen to things and you're just like, dude, like people outside of America, bro, like you wouldn't fucking survive. You get what I'm saying? Definitely. Like, it's like, I don't know. That's just me.
I think a lot of people don't really understand what it's like in other countries, or even other states, other cities, because they're so local. There's a lot of people listening that they haven't been anywhere 7,500 miles outside of where they were born at. So when you that have such a shallow way of thinking about the world, of course you're going to have those type of ideas and idealistics of whatever, racism or classism or whatever that you think it is, or even that America is so bad. Like, bro, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It is not as free as we are here. Yeah. You know, it seems like we're getting a lot of freedoms taken away, but this isn't the country. This is the people that we've elected to be in control. Yeah. Whether you want to say it's the president or all the way down to your local offices, you know, the way that things are being held or taken care of here in whatever city that you're in, that's the responsibility of like your local officials and your government. Yeah. So people like to just think that like America is just one thing that controls everything, but it's really not. And we have a lot of control in who gets elected and who we support, and people's eyes are just opening up right now when your liberties are getting taken away. Yeah. You know, so I feel like if you want somebody to blame about your life and the way that your life is,
look in the fucking mirror.
Just go in your restroom, man. Look in the mirror. Nope. And you're the only one. Because no matter who the fuck is president, I don't care, dude. I don't care if Kanye's president. I don't care who's president in 2020 or in November. I'm still going to be doing it. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. And if aliens come, I'm still going to be doing it. You know, I'm gonna be in like the dope spaceship, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's just to me, it's just an excuse, man.
Definitely.
You could play the victim mentality. You could. I feel like, and Andy talked about this in his podcast. I feel like nowadays people are just like, oh, I'm the victim. Oh, my people suffer more, or you know, I'm this. Like I'm affected more. It's just like, who's the bigger victim? It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, man. It's just the truth. Like, it's like, the president isn't gonna define who you are and how you live your life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Your local office person too isn't. It's just you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely you. You look in the mirror, it's you. You choose how you want to let that control your life or navigate your life or, you know, impact your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, dude. We're all human. We're all like, it's in our DNA to adapt and evolve. The question is, are you just gonna go with it? You know what I'm saying? That's all it is, dude.
Yeah, definitely. And you hit it on the head, man. I never want nobody to feel sorry for me or to give me sympathy. Yeah. You know, it even bothers me being Hispanic when people post up like, you know, the elote man or people working in the fields and try to give them like sympathy. You know, I'm like, I know those people. They don't want fucking sympathy. You know, they're living the life that they need to live. You don't need to post them on social media and say, you know, look at these hardworking Mexicans. Like, they know they're hardworking, bro. We're not part of your agenda, whatever the agenda is that
that's terrible.
You're trying to push.
They're trying to mesh them together. Or
it's not shit. That, dude. These people are hardworking people. They know what they have to do because they came from Mexico and they're trying to figure things out. And this is the job that they're working right now. How do you think these people would feel if they look on social media and some huge celebrity reposted their picture and like pandering down to them? Yeah. You know, everybody starts at different rungs of the ladder. And I know if I went to a different country, if I just went to like fucking Ecuador or something, I'm going to have to start at the bottom. Yep. But how long I stay at the bottom determines on me. Yeah. You know, so there's just so much agendas going on right now. People claiming victims and people wanting you to feel sorry for them. And when I see all this shit, dude, all I see is you're not taking accountability for your own life. So you're making excuses why your life isn't how you think it is. You know, and that is that's kind of the same thing that I was saying about being in that circle. Once you step away from it and look from the outside looking in, it's like, I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me just because I'm Mexican. Yeah. For what? Yeah. You know, Trump said, build a wall. You should feel. I don't feel any sort of way. Build a fucking wall. I don't care. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to go over a wall. I'm not trying to do any of that shit. Like, none of that has nothing to fucking do with me. Anybody could do whatever the fuck they want to do. And if that person is in control of things right now and that's what they want to do with their time, whatever. That has nothing to do with me. Because that wall and that Trump and however anybody fucking thinks positive or negative, it's not going to help me fulfill these orders. Yeah. It's not going to help me fucking podcast. Yeah. You know, those are the things that I'm trying to focus on. I'm trying to better myself and I'm trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. And if these roadblocks do come up, I'm not going to go out and complain about them.
You're going to jump over
them. I can't do anything about it. If there's a fucking wall, I've seen so many videos of people just jumping over the wall. That's what the fuck I would do. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a wall. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go under it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to complain that the wall's there.
Yeah.
And it's
already there.
It's there.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And that's the way that I like to think about things, because when you think about it in that train of thought, all the power is in your hands.
Yeah.
You're not getting your power taken away. And so many people are letting the power get taken away from them and using that as an excuse to why they can't thrive.
Dude, they play the victim mentality, and then they just find excuses again and again and again of why they can't succeed or thrive. You get what I'm saying? And it's funny because, say for instance, like, you know, like you said, like dude, you probably know a lot of fellow, you know, Mexicans or whatever that are fucking thriving. They're killing it, right? So what makes them different than this other person who's just sitting at their home like, oh, life's against me. I'm oppressed. Life's not fair. God hates me. What's the difference?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like, some of these really wealthy people are happy. It doesn't even have to be like wealthy. They're just happy. I could guarantee you they choose. They make a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And it just sucks that people let themselves be stuck there. You know what I mean? It's just like that mind, like and it's all the stuff, all the agendas, all the narratives you're seeing on social media. It's just like, you just see this one thing and you let your emotions already come to you and you react.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, like, there's always other angles and perspectives into something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just sucks that people are, to me, I feel like people are zombies right now, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
Definitely.
It's wild, dude. It's sad.
Which makes it a lot easier for people who understand that, people who are outside and looking at how society is, makes it a lot easier for them to thrive. Mm-hmm. You know, because you understand that, the people that you're playing against, they're very handicapped right now because they're letting all of these they're carrying the weight of things that they don't need to carry. Mm-hmm. You know,
great way of putting it. Yeah.
I'm very aware of COVID and what the effects it has on it and the danger that it has, but I'm not going to live my life like that.
Yeah.
I don't live in a reckless way, but if I end up having that, if something comes down and I get it, I'll deal with it then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deal with those problems that don't exist right now.
I tell people all the time. So people always ask, like, how you been with COVID? I feel like I got busier during this shutdown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got busier. And I always tell people, regardless of what you think, right? Whatever it is, you think of COVID, you need to stop letting things that you can't control you.
Yes.
These are things you can't control. So shut the fuck up, right? And just continue to move forward because you can't control that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep moving forward. And it's wild to me that people, again, are letting like this small, whether it's a scandemic, pandemic, you know, whatever it may be, like, just control their life, bro.
Yeah.
And slow down. You know, it's just wild to me, man. It's unfortunate.
Definitely, man. Always a good convo whenever you come, bro.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, dude.
Yeah,
it's great to talk to another entrepreneur and actually highlight the things that most mainstream entrepreneurs don't highlight, you know, which is the struggles that come with it, you know, the losing of friends, you know, trying to navigate. One thing that you did say that I really resonated with was the loneliness of it.
Yeah.
You know, because in this entrepreneur space, how many people that you know from your circle, from where you grew up, think the same way that you do? Mm-hmm. Probably not that many people.
Not many, yeah.
But now you're surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs, and you know you're from like 2 hours away from where I am. But I'll always text you, and we'll throw ideas back and forth because I understand that you're on the same wavelength that I am.
I feel like we don't text much as we should.
Yeah,
you know
no, definitely, man.
And you know, it's not to say that we're, again, like, going that route, like we're better than other people. It's just exactly what we said, a different wavelength.
Yeah.
Like, we just have a different focus and priorities in our life, and we just resonate, and we want to stick with those people because those people help elevate each other, you know, us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's exactly right, man. Again, audit your circle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if anybody takes anything away from this, that's a great way to put it, dude. Audit your circle, audit your time. Because at the end of the day, time is the only currency that you really have. Mm-hmm. You can have all the money in the world, but you could get hit by a car, and right when you're listening to this, that's it.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You know, so just make that impact that you want to see. Be that change that you want to see in the world. That's what I like to live by.
Man. Just you know what? Just I feel the world's fucking chaotic right now, man. It's so chaotic. Don't let it be your problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not it's not under your control. You know what I'm saying? So just live your life. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is.
I love it, bro. Yeah. So before we get out of here, man, what are some things that we could look forward from you and the Parables podcast for the rest of 2020?
Man, that's a good question. I almost feel I'm so busy that my future, I don't want to say it's uncertain.
Yeah.
Like I know where I'm going, but I just feel like my moves, like I feel like it's always changing. It's always adapting.
Yeah.
In regards to the podcast, I'm going to continue to put out more episodes, of course. You know, hopefully this COVID thing like goes away so I could really start ramping up again the episodes, getting people in person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to bring more different guests, versatile. Maybe again, like we spoke about, right? Not so much maybe in business and entrepreneurship. Maybe it's just about current events. Maybe it's about a certain subject that's not being spoken about in the world, right? Just want to put it out there, put more episodes out. I've thought about starting. I've been going back and forth of doing like a solo segment. I think like a part of some of my episodes were a solo segment. I haven't really found my voice. No, I take that back. Not like found my voice, but I just haven't found a flow.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to be more. I want to let more out of me out there. Yeah, that makes sense. Just telling it like it is. Like, dude, like what the fuck this? Like, almost like I don't know if Andy Frisel's getting to me, but like I just no, it's the truth. Like I have a lot of things on my mind and a lot of things I want to say. I've kept quiet, and not just because I'm afraid to say it. It's just I'm that type of person. Like I don't want to do something unless I feel like it, or I'm in the mood, or I'm in that flow. You get what I'm saying? And truthfully, the way things are now, I haven't really found that system or flow yet as far as that solo segment, but I want to get back into that. I really just want to like drop like a 2 5-minute episode, like straight to the point, like, yo, what the hell is this going on right now? And just speak my thoughts and my wisdom, and something quick. Whereas like, most of my episodes hour and a half long, just something quick, and every now and then just drop that.
Maybe that would be a good segment for IGTV. Yeah. Something short like that. Yeah. But that's a great idea, man, because I know how podcasting is, dude. You when you have the guest on, it's about the guest. Yeah. But there's you being a conversational person and you having ideas and so much knowledge. There's times that you want to get things out, but you don't have a way to get it out. So I completely agree with that, and you should definitely focus on that, dude, because then people will understand the way that you think. Your stance on things. And right now it's really polarizing to have an actual stance, but at the end of the day, however you feel is how you feel. And if people can't understand and they don't want to fuck with you because of that, so be it. You want people around to say, what, EJ thinks his way about things, that's cool, but on the grand scheme of things, I know he's a good guy. Yeah. Same way with Andy. There's certain things that Andy thinks about that I don't certainly think about. Especially when he cuts people off. That bothers me so much. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I don't fuck with him. Yeah. And just because somebody does one thing that is wrong in your eyes, whether it's political or whatever it is, religion, whatever, dude, understand that that's one subject about them, but it doesn't define them. And if there's something that, that bothers something about me or you or whatever, you just know not to navigate around it. Yeah.
See, that's the problem right now, is like all of a sudden people don't have a sense of respect for each other. Yeah. Frank feels this way about something. Oh, well, fuck him. Yeah. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, since when people have different opinions? Since when is that like all of a sudden a bad thing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking weird.
And bro. we can't be prison to that as well. Even though like the mainstream is, you're getting canceled for things that you said 10 years ago or whatever. That's cool.
So stupid.
Cancel me, because I don't even give a fuck who you are. If you're the person that's going to cancel me, that's fine. But I know that we have a lot of supporters that understand growth. I always talk about growth all the time. And people that are in the public are growing in the eyes of the public. So obviously you're going to see things about me or my character that is different than it was in the past because I'm growing in front of you. You're not growing in front of me, so I can't call you out on things that you've done or things that you've said. You know what I mean? So it's just the way that you want to be treated, you should treat other people. And I know that sounds so stupid, but would you really want to get canceled for something that you said when you were a teenager?
Dumb. So dumb.
Of course not, dude.
Like my level of thinking, where my life was 10 years ago was different than how I am now.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm a different person than I was in the end of 2019.
I'm a different person than I was yesterday.
Exactly.
Maybe not like a complete turnaround, but maybe 1%.
Every day. Yeah. Every day you're changing, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Well, I love it, bro. You know, stay in the evolution that you are. I love it. In these 100 episodes, it's great to hear what you've done and to see that you're still on the path, man. Stay hungry,
dude,
bro.
You're a machine, man. What is that? This is 185. Oh man, dude. When I get to 185, I'll be like, yo, Frank, I hit that 185, bro.
I love it, man. I love it. So before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can follow you and the podcast at, and where they could get some of this Parables drip from, bro. I appreciate this air freshener right here.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a transparent dude, man. My Shopify store hasn't seen a lot of love in a while, so if you guys want to show some love, shop.ejcruz.com for any Parables podcast merch. This is by the way, to anyone starting a podcast, this is probably like one of the best marketing like tools out there, because dude, this is on your car.
Yeah,
it has a name. You forget that's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I got to replace my air freshener, but it's just there, right? Anyway, shop.ejcruz.com to check out the podcast, The Parables. You could search and you should see my name pop up. Also on YouTube, I film just like how Frank does. And to reach out to me, Instagram's probably the best. It's Ejay Cruz. That's ITS. And then my name, Ejay Cruz. EJAYCRUZ.
Dope, bro. Yeah. We'll definitely have it listed below. EJ, I really, really want to thank you for your time, man. I know that time is very important to you, and for you to make this drive just definitely means a lot to me, man.
Dude, I'll always make time to come out here and do a podcast. You want me back at fucking, what is it, episode 285? I'm fucking down, bro.
285 is reserved for you, bro. So make sure you guys check out the Parables podcast, check out EJ, and please check out our sponsor, Heel to Automotive. Been around since 2002, supplying you guys with the Honda parts that you need. And you were a Honda guy too, man. We talked about that in episode 1. Yeah. So if you guys want to hear more about EJ's story, make sure you check out episode 86 of Downtime with Downstar. Please check out Heel to Automotive at heeltoauto.com, on Instagram at Heel to Automotive. And thank you guys for listening, man. This is episode 185, and we're out. Peace.